Welcome to another 10-minute episode of Everything Sports with Aman and Evan. I'm your host, Evan Garber, and today, going to be breaking down the Pascal Siakam trade. He is being traded to the Indiana Pacers. But before we get to that, make sure to follow us on all social media platforms so you don't miss out on any of our content. Now we'll get right into it. Pascal Siakam is being traded to the Pacers along with a 2024 second round pick via the Pelicans. The Raptors, they are receiving Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, Kyrie Lewis Jr., 2024 first round pick via the Pacers, 2024 first round pick lesser of the Jazz, Clippers, Rockets, Thunder, and 2026 first round pick via the Pacers. Protected top four. And Pelicans, they are receiving cash considerations for Kyrie Lewis Jr. And this is an absolutely massive trade for the Indiana Pacers. They finally get their star to pair next to Pascal Siakam, pair next to Tyrese Halliburton, which they really needed, as they are one of the best teams, of course, in the NBA, the best offensive team in the NBA, and one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA, but not terrible, but definitely not very great at all. Pascal Siakam, he is definitely an upgrade, I would say, over what they had defensively at power forward position. But I mean, really, just what you're looking for right here is the offense. The offense is getting even better. Just when you thought it really couldn't get any better, it just it just did. And of course, they're having a very historic season offensively, and now you just push for that historic season. Probably the best offensive season we've seen in all of NBA history at this point. And I really just love this trade for the Indiana Pacers because it gives them such an amazing dynamic for this team now. Right now, the team has a lot of just more shooting. It's really what it seems like. Not a whole lot of paint presence from the big men. Miles Turner is definitely not bad in the paint, but he's definitely more of a stretch five, so you got him shooting threes. Of course, he's pretty good in the paint, though, on defensively, getting a lot of block shots there. But now you have Pascal Siakam to dominate the paint for the Indiana Pacers on offense. And I can just imagine so many pick and rolls, pick and pops, so many different combinations using Pascal Siakam now for Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, even not Tyrese Halliburton, even the other guys on this team, they can use Pascal Siakam to their advantage because now you're to guard both the three ball and Siakam down low. Can't just guard the three ball, which is mainly what you have to guard at this point if you're going against Pacers. But now that they had Pascal Siakam, it's going to be absolutely insane. Now, of course, we'll have to wait for them both to play together, Siakam and Halliburton. Halliburton, of course, is out with a hamstring injury. We'll see if they can get back soon. But once this team does have Halliburton back, I mean, this team's going to be absolutely scary. It's going to be really hard to stop them. Of course, I do think defensively, though, it is definitely going to be very difficult to win a playoff series against a team like the Bucks, Sixers, or Celtics, as you do obviously need to defend a little bit to stop those teams, because those teams can also score 130 points, 140 points, whatever it may be. And they're also going to play better defensively. They're not going to give up 140 points to the Indiana Pacers. I think that's really where the difference is right now for this team. They definitely, of course, are a very good team, but I don't think they're title contenders yet because they do not have that defensive aspect that you need if you want to win a title. Of course, they can build that in the offseason. We'll see if they do, in fact, do that. They definitely do need to make a big trade, though, defensively. They do want to win the NBA Finals next year, be considered title contenders next year. And I was looking at a bunch of advanced stats to see, really, is Pascal Siakam that much better defensively than what the Pacers have, or is it really like a worthy trade for them to put them in title contention right now? And I was looking at value over replacement player. I mean, of course, he's better than a replacement player. That's pretty obvious. I mean, he's Pascal Siakam, but he's at 1.2, which is one of the worst in his career, which is kind of interesting. Pascal Siakam is considered that low, I guess you can say. He was 3.6 back in 2021-2022 season, 3.4 last season. So, I mean, yeah, of course, we've seen him have much more value in both ends of the floor. But this year, I mean, he's still very good. Offensively, his offensive box plus minus is 2.1. Defensive box plus minus is negative 0.6, which honestly isn't that bad. Of course, negative 0.6 is close to average. And I mean, honestly, if you're the Pacers, you'll take an average defender if it means that you're getting an absolutely elite power forward to pair next to Tyrese Halliburton and make just so much more dynamic for this team. And then for the return for the Toronto Raptors, you got Bruce Brown, who's been okay. Of course, he did get paid a bag by the Pacers this offseason. And of course, he was the roster filler or the salary filler in this deal, basically. And he's got 12.1 points per game this season, which obviously isn't bad. His per 36 is at 14.6. So, I mean, yeah, he's a pretty just solid. He's a quality NBA player. Nothing special, of course. And I don't think that he's necessarily the guy you're going to build around if you're the Toronto Raptors. But he gives you a pretty nice veteran leadership, I guess. Not super veteran, but he gives you some veteran leadership in the locker room when you do have eventually. You're going to have a bunch of young guys in that locker room. You're going to have Jordan Nwora, you're going to have Kira Lewis, you're going to have RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, of course. So you're going to build a lot of young guys in their lineup right now. And having Bruce Brown as a solid, just veteran and three-point shooter, it's not a bad deal for them. And of course, Jordan Nwora, he's been okay so far this season. He had a lot better last season, but he did a lot more playing time last season. 24 minutes a game, 13 points per game last season. This season, he's only averaging 10 minutes per game and a total of 7.2 points per game. So we've definitely seen some good signs out of Jordan Nwora, and I do think that he can be a pretty solid just role player for this upcoming Raptors team when they do get to that point where they are back to title contention or maybe playoff contention, whatever it may be. Jordan Nwora is going to be a pretty solid piece for them. And then Kira Lewis Jr., he just really doesn't get any playing time on the Pelicans, and now put the Pelicans under the luxury tax, which is pretty big for them. We could go out and see them make a big move this offseason. Maybe move CJ McCollum to cruising cap space and make a big splash. Because now they do have the money. They can go over the luxury tax next season. We'll see if they're willing to pay the luxury tax, but I'm pretty sure they are if they can get Zion, Brandon Ingram, and some other third star. Not named CJ McCollum. Well, CJ McCollum's not bad, obviously, but if you can get CJ McCollum off the books and get another star, you're going to do that. Of course, you're the Pelicans. Kira Lewis, 2.9 points per game this season, only averaging 9.6 minutes per game. But is per 36 not bad? Per 36, 11 points per game this season. Last season he's got a lot more, 17.5 points per game and 14.9 points per game, respectively, in the last two seasons. So he definitely has shown some signs as well. But I think Jordan Nwora is really the guy that you're looking at and be like, okay, maybe this guy has potential. Maybe this guy can be a pretty good role player for us in the next coming up years once they do, in fact, rebuild. And, of course, they do have the 3 first-round picks, which are going to be in the 20 ranges, so it's not going to be necessarily the most valuable pick, and they're not going to be like number 1 overall pick or anything like that. But it definitely is a pretty solid get for them because they are able to splash in those ranges, as we did see them get Pascal Siakam in that range. So we'll see if they can find another Siakam and get that guy to build around next to Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes, and if they can find that guy, is going to be pretty scary duo. I do like their teams right now. They got some good young players, as of course. RJ Barrett, I don't really get the hate around him. I think he's a pretty solid NBA player. Just didn't fit in the Knicks. And I think now that he's on the Raptors, he's going to shine very bright for that team. And this really impacts a lot of other teams as well. I mean, of course, we do have the Pacers, of course, winning this trade, I think. Had they get that star, and they did get that star. But it impacts teams like the Warriors, like the Thunder, even the whole trade market as well. I mean, of course, the Warriors, they were looking at Pascal Siakam maybe. It seemed like, or at least the fans were thinking that they should get him. But they were obviously fell short. They could have gotten away with the Kuminga, Wiggins, 2 firsts, 1 first, I don't know, something like that. But maybe the Pacers didn't want that. Maybe the Pacers were looking for the picks, which they did get. Maybe they weren't looking necessarily for the young talent. And then, of course, the Thunder as well. They could have used him to pair next to Chet Holmgren and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That would have been very, very nice fit for them. Offense would have been absolutely insane for them as well, as it is going to be for the Pacers. Pretty similar dynamic there, but they obviously did not get him. I just think that they weren't really. I don't even know if they're really in the running, honestly, at this point. It definitely seemed like the Pacers were pretty much the only team that seemed like in the race toward the very end. And they were willing to pay that price that the Raptors were willing to get back. And of course now it moves those teams over to maybe Lauri Markkanen. We'll see if Lauri Markkanen gets dealt at the deadline. I think he will in fact get dealt at the deadline. But that's really the big guy at this point for those teams, trying to find that third guy or second guy, whatever it may be, find that star to pair next to their point guard star. In this case, Steph Curry, Shai Alexander. Pair next to one of those guys and make that either push to the playoffs for the Warriors' case or push to the title contention maybe for the Thunder's case. And I mean, really, just the Warriors are in such a hole right now. I mean, missing out Pascal Siakam actually is kind of huge for them, but I do think that they need to build more of like a well-rounded team. It seems like at this point. I mean, of course, the bench is pretty good, but I'm not sure if a Siakam paying that price would have really done a whole lot. Offensively, it would have been better for sure, but I don't know if that's really the issue right now. I mean, you do need a scoring person next to Steph Curry, but I'm not sure how much better it makes this team. I think you need to go up. Maybe Lauri Markkanen makes the team better. I don't really know. I don't think so either. I really don't think that the Warriors are really just one star away like most people think, because this team is just complete shambles right now. I mean, Clay's getting better. Wiggins, he's showing some signs of getting a little bit better. Draymond, of course, just can't stay on the floor. So if he can't stay on the floor, he's there. He's just fine. But I think the Warriors, they need to go out and get more quality pieces more quantity and quality rather than just that one big star. And the Thunder, of course, they need to get that big star, I believe, in order to make the next push. We'll see if they can go find that guy. But I really like this trade for all the teams involved, honestly. I don't think anyone really missed out on this deal. But let me know what you guys think about this deal. Let me know what you guys think about the returns for both teams, or all three teams, I guess you can say. We'll see you on Friday.